Running up that goes, running up that field. Alrighty. Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofect1 AJ. The Money Train Noah will be joining me here in just a moment, but hope you are having a great Monday. Shit, we're already in March. We're already in March, and you know what that means. You know what that means. We got March Madness right around the corner. End of this month. Don't forget our March Madness Round 1 and Round 2 live stream going to be coming at you live here on the Rumble. Beyond excited for that. Just getting ready. I'm just getting ready for that. We got conference championships taking place, conference tournaments taking place already. And on top of all of that, we've got a NFL that is not stopping whatsoever. So much news coming out of the NFL with the combine, some releases and some retirements coming down the pipeline as well. So, hey, we're just going to have to keep an eye on all of it. We do have a lot to talk about. Where to start? Where to start, really? That's the question. That is the big question here. Do we want to go with that? No. Oh, well, I guess we should do this. We should, of course, start with this. Do want to take a moment. Shout out to, nope, not him. Not him. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. What the fuck just happened? What in the... Sorry. What is going on? Sorry, guys. My Twitter is now going crazy. There we go. All right, there we go. Do want to take a moment. Shout out to Caitlin Clark, breaking the all-time NCAA record method of breaking that record free throw at plus 650 cashing. I mean, what else can I say? What else can I say? Congratulations to Caitlin Clark, the most electrifying women's basketball player of all time. That's right. I didn't say college basketball player. No. The most electrifying women's college basketball player of all time. And I have spoken about this at length, and I still believe this, and will probably believe this until the day I die. The WNBA actually has a unbelievable opportunity here. They actually have an unbelievable opportunity here to bring the eyes, finally bring, the fans to women's basketball. And they got that chance with her. They got that chance with the highest scoring female college basketball player, the highest scoring college basketball player now of all time. Still with a lot of season to go. They're going to make a deep run in the tournament. Listen, WNBA, do not fuck this up. I really don't know how else to say it, because she's electrifying. She's electrifying. She sells out everywhere she goes. The ticket prices to go and watch her play are ridiculous, as they should be, because you're watching an artist at work. And so, I mean, I don't know how the WNBA can't ruin her, I guess is a better question. I mean, they keep... A lot of questions, just a lot of questions revolving where she's going to go, obviously, declaring for the draft for the WNBA. But listen, you do what the NBA did with Wembanyama. And you know what that is? You strap a rocket to the kid's back. You make sure he is absolutely everywhere. You make sure that she is the new face of the WNBA. That's how you save that shit league. That's how you do that. And again, more than anything, I want them to not, completely F this up for her, because I don't want her to regret going to the WNBA. Because let's be real. She may be out of quote unquote eligibility, But, a call here, a call there, go to grad school. Oh, yeah, sure. We'll write you another waiver to come play back college again and just let us make all the money. And so, I don't know. Again, I hope nothing but the best for Caitlin Clark. I really don't. I really do. I enjoy watching her play. And again, I do think she is or could be the saving grace of that dying league. And I mean, you want to know it's dying. The Phoenix Mercury, when I went, were supposed to be the best team in the fucking league. And there was absolutely nobody there. Good basketball was being played, but nobody was watching. And that's always an issue. It's always an issue when people aren't watching your product. And so they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity here with Caitlin Clark to just redefine what the WNBA is and how the WNBA operates. And so let's hope they can get that together. I at least hope they can get it together for her sake. But that's just me. Okay, this is funny. We had our fun with this weekend, or at least the internet did. Kyle Flipowski for Duke looks fine today as well. After that terrible court storming incident. Y'all remember that? The court was stormed. Someone took out his knee, and oh my God, the world was falling apart. Duke was done. He was out for the rest of the season, maybe the rest of his career. And then, not 5 days later, we get him just windmill dunking on a motherfucker. I mean, come on, dude. And I mean, Barstool, they killed it with this one. Flipowski throwing down windmills just a week after nearly getting killed during court storm. I mean, seriously. And it's getting to the point. And I mean, we've talked about it jokingly about NBA players, especially, but NBA players are almost getting as bad as soccer players. It's getting to that point where these flops and everything, the over dramatizing of what occurred, what happened. I mean, it's not good for the sport. It's not good for the athletes, and it's not good for the fans. And so, again, again, I'm glad the kid's okay. Let's make sure we get that part clear. I'm glad the kid's okay and it wasn't a serious injury or something, because as a guy with knee issues, yeah, I know a bump like that changes the course of maybe an injury depending on how things fall. But at the end of the day, courts should be stormed. Courts should be stormed as I'm watching number 9 Duke right now at NC State. NC State 22-22, 4:07 left to go here in the first. And you are betting your ass some courts are getting stormed if NC State goes up on Duke here. And Duke with not a great shot whatsoever. Man. But yeah, can you believe that? All the old people got on their webcams on ESPN. It just I mean, they all just individually had their own get off my lawn moments. That's really what that was. It was all of them coming together and be like, get off my lawn. We're done with it. Get off my lawn, kids. Which, I mean, hey, they're entitled to their opinion. Everyone is, of course. But also, sometimes just shut the fuck up. Please, just shut up. All right. Last thing we need is that actually getting traction. The banning of court storming. The last thing we need is that gaining any type of traction whatsoever, even if it's in a joking manner. Oh, yeah. No, we don't even need that. All right, let's just leave it where it is. Leave it where it is. All right, let's talk about, I think, and I mean, there was big news coming out today from the NFL, but I do think this is the bigger news coming out. And it's news that I think everybody was expecting. Everyone was expecting, but not news that we were all particularly hyped on or wanted to happen. And there was always that hope that maybe, there would be another season, one more season to enjoy with the boys. And, not the case. Not the case, as you can see an obvious emotional Jason Kelce here in a unbelievable 50-minute press conference. Like, if you got some time on your hands, give it a listen, because I mean, this is a man that just, it shows how much he loved football. It showed how much he loved lacing it up every Sunday, putting his helmet on, putting everything on, going through the trenches with his brothers, on that O-line. And he talks about his journey getting to the NFL, how he got into football, how he got into being an O-lineman, how he, just went through and did everything. And honestly, like, it's a hell of a story. it's a hell of a story from Jason Kelce. And, the love for him, his family, from that organization, that city is very palpable. It's very palpable. And Eagles fans, Philadelphia fans in general, we love to throw shit at them. We love to talk shit about how they boo Santa Claus. They boo their own teams out of buildings. Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's one thing that Philadelphia fans do, and that's a badge of honor for Philadelphia fans. That's what makes Philly fans different than other fans, But in that same breath, as fast as they are to turn on you, as fast as they are to open their arms to you, and Jason Kelce did the same thing for that city, opening his arms and truly giving into what it meant to be a Philadelphia Eagle. It's been a hell of a great time, being able to cover him, being able to watch him. And hey, thanks for the memories, Jason. Hell of a run, man. And the funniest, that tweet that he put out there about how no more beer kegs. I got more to say at the press conference. Everyone kind of knew what it was coming there. Nick Sirianni famously bribing essentially Jason Kelce to come back for one more season, a couple more seasons with a keg of beer during the offseason. And some fans even, brought back a keg so that he could hopefully enjoy one last one with the boys. But he decided to go home, which I don't blame you. Enjoy retirement, pal. Enjoy that first day. He's got a good vacation plan for the fam coming up. So, hey, again, thank you, Jason. Thank you for, what you did for football, in a position that's very much, not talked about, not appreciated nearly as much as it probably should be. The boys in the trenches on the O-line, D-line, going to war, going to hand combat every single down. No downs off, and the boys keep it moving. Jason Kelce, the longevity of the career, the impact he had on his game, from his Super Bowl speech, from just everything he did during the Chiefs Super Bowl run. I mean, one of a kind character. And obviously, I don't think we've heard the last of him. If there's one thing, there's stepping away from football, but then there's what's on the other side. And for Jason Kelce, like his brother Travis, when he eventually decides to hang it up, there's a lot of media companies that are going to be ringing at those doorbells. Even if you don't want to do that, that podcast does pretty good from what I hear. So, I mean, obviously he's going to be fine. It's just, it's always hard to watch a great guy, with someone that's great for the league, someone that's been great for the sport, step away from the game and showing how much he cares about it, how much thought definitely went into this. I mean, you can just tell that this was overall not an easy decision. And hey, when you're playing at that elite level, when you and the boys are going on run after run, it's hard. It can be hard to step away. So, yeah, had to be something. So, yeah, again, shout out to, this is, I mean, come on. Absolutely classic. Hell of a guy. And I mean, let's be real. Yeah, the Eagles went ahead and said the greatest to ever do it. Yeah, he's got a jacket and a bust waiting for him in Canton. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's a guy. He's an absolute dog. So shout out to him. Everyone's showing their love and appreciation. Yeah, I mean, and then hold on. This is an important part in sports history that we need to talk about, because he did specifically talk about Big Dick Nick. and I mean, funniest quote ever. Never forget Nick Foles having the biggest dick on the team, calling for the Philly special, and Doug Peterson having the biggest balls to say, yeah, let's do it. I mean, shout out to one of, again, another immortal moment from Philly sports and another immortal moment from Jason Kelce there. Yeah. Oh, man. But hey, shout out to the guy. Make sure you have an extra Miller Lite for him tonight. Absolute dog. But yeah, speaking of Hall of Famers, I do want to drop this one. Because for those of you who don't know about me, I got a deep root in pro wrestling. Was a pro wrestler on the Arizona independent scene for about 6 years, and huge fan of pro wrestling, like a lot of people out there, and was really, really excited, really cool to see the announcement today from Triple H's Twitter that the man himself, oh man, the legend, the best manager to ever take part in professional wrestling, one of the best promoters to ever be in the game, and one of the best wrestling minds, truly, to ever, take part in a wrestling event. He's unbelievable. Paul Heyman himself going into the Hall of Fame for the WWE. And yeah, I mean, it's in Philadelphia. I don't know what else you expect. It's gonna blow up. I mean, talk about a headliner of the headliners for Philly. I mean, an obvious Hall of Fame choice in Paul Heyman. Again, just an absolute dog in everything he's done in pro wrestling, whether it's running ECW, now, managing the Tribal Chief, managing CM Punk, managing Brock Lesnar. Ooh, probably can't mention Brock Lesnar right now. That's a bad topic to talk about. But, Heyman's legacy is one that it was, hey, that worked, but what can work next? What can we figure out next? And shout out to Paul Heyman. Seriously, shout out to Paul Heyman. And if you haven't gone back, like I was born, as ECW was happening, so I don't remember any of that stuff. So I went back in the WWE network in the old days and just watched a bunch of that ECW shit. I mean, the fact that a lot of those guys got up, I mean, those are moves and stuff today. You went to a wrestling show and you talk to your guy and you're like, hey man, this is what I was thinking. They would look at you and be like, you're absolutely batshit crazy. We're not doing that shit, which is fair, but we still got some guys taking some falls through glass. That looked rough. I don't care if it's gimmicks glass or whatever, but I ain't. That's a rough one. That's a rough one. I'm stalling because I want to talk about the big news out of the NFL with Noah. Noah's on his way, so we're gonna. I know I'm pitter-pattering around it, but I want to get Noah's reactions, and then we'll get into a deep conversation on that because that's going to set up a lot of stuff. But this also might set up some stuff, as it is being reported at a couple of outlets about Jacoby Brissett being a bridge quarterback for the New England Patriots. So, I mean, that's an interesting move. Patriots, high pick in the draft. And what's one thing that we've continued to see, and one thing that we've on this show been absolutely advocating for, that's letting a guy sit behind a veteran who knows what the hell he's doing and let him learn. Let him learn. Look at Jordan Love. Look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love this season played above average for what a first-year quarterback did. Dare I say he played damn good. Good enough to get them to the playoffs. Good of them to kick the Cowboys' ass in the playoffs. Good to keep that moving. And so, yeah, if I'm the Patriots and we are going through this transportation period, shout out to Road Dogg in the chat, by the way, giving the ECW chant. Let's go. What's up, Road Dogg? How we doing? But no, at the end of the day, it seems to be working. Patrick Mahomes got to sit behind Alex Smith, who's just been also a constant professional. Jordan Love got to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, a professional. Those are guys that you want to learn behind. Those are guys that you would want a rookie quarterback sitting behind. Jacoby Brissett. Yes, Jacoby Brissett is one of those guys as well. One of the things that is always said about Jacoby Brissett from his time at any place that he has been, yes, the absolute journeyman of Jacoby Brissett. But the one thing that has been said about him is that he's a constant and he's a good locker room guy. And at the end of the day, if you're anything else as a quarterback, that's what you are. You're a constant professional, and you're a good locker room guy. At the end of the day, sometimes that's all you need. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not that, I don't know what else. I don't know what you can do. So, interesting move. It'd be an interesting move by the Patriots. Not a move that they've done in the past. I mean, I guess they kind of did, trying to go with Cam Newton, if you remember that debacle there for a little bit. But I mean, you also got a lot of other very talented quarterbacks on that market. And Joe Flacco is another name that I've been hearing rumored to the Patriots. Joe Flacco, Jacoby Brissett, one of those guys. I mean, either way, you're getting a professional, you're getting a veteran in there, and either of those guys you'd want sitting behind them. Now, who do they draft? That's another conversation. That's a whole other conversation. Because who do the Patriots draft? Because, you try the whole Mac Jones thing, and I guess that's the post-Belichick Brady era, post-Brady Belichick era. I guess you can call that. And so you take that out of Patriots history, like they seem to be doing a good job with some of the, what's that show called? You know what I'm talking about. Dynasty, right? That's a thing. I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard not the best. Sorry, just crossing some T's, dotting some I's. But at the end of the day, I mean, I guess the thing we need to remember and the thing that we need to kind of understand moving forward is that the Patriots of the past are dead. And, you know, yes, there might be some bits and pieces there. Gerard Mayo was there for a minute and did seem to be Belichick's kind of successor going in there. And maybe plans were accelerated a little bit with the bad season. But you're going to see a different Patriots here. This is not going to be the Patriots where it's the quote unquote Patriot way and Belichick's. I think you're going to see a different Patriots here. And so you're going to see a different style of play too. You know, I'm not. I think the Patriots are definitely going to want to go out there and they're going to want to have one of these, you know, new fancy high octane offenses, you know, and that's not been the Patriot way since Brady's been there, since Belichick's been there. It's just not the way they play football. And so I think we're going to see a transition from that. And I think we're seeing that with them probably going with a quarterback here in the first round. And so they're going to want to take care of it, whether it's Jaden Daniels, whether it's Drake May, whether it's Michael Penix Jr., who had an incredible combine. I mean, any of those guys you take, you're going to want them sitting behind a Jacoby Brissett, a guy. And so you do that, you know, you're going to start getting some weapons. I promise you they're going to go for a wide receiver. We're not going to get a defensive tackle out of, you know, Middle Tennessee State in the second round, in the early second round here or late first. That's not this Patriots team that we're going to see anymore. I don't think Robert Kraft's still there, but Robert Kraft doesn't strike me as a Jerry Jones type. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. It is fascinating. All right, now I do need to step away for a hot sec, but I will be right back, and we will. Well, all right, we'll start talking. We'll start talking a little bit about Russ, huh? We'll start talking a little bit about Russell Wilson, Denver. What the hell they're going to do with that cap hit? What the hell Russell Wilson's going to do? Where he's going to go, and who the hell really wants him? If we're going to be honest, so we'll get to all of that and a little bit of more. Just got to step away for a hot sec. The Money Train Noah will be joining me as well here soon. But before I step away, I do just want to take another moment. Shout out to the 3 people watching live right now. What is up? Hope you guys are having an incredible Monday. And shout out to our 345 incredible followers, 435, excuse me, 435 incredible followers here on Rumble. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Give me a second. We'll be right back. Oh, shit. I can't believe. Might be. What's up? We're back, everybody. What's up? Brofect1 here. The Money Train will be joining us here soon. I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about this. Again, it's just been a crazy day in the sports world, if we're going to be completely honest. Been a crazy weekend with everything going on. I know I said we were going to get into Russ, but before we get into Russ, we got to talk about the Bucs, because the Bucs are the Buccaneers. Listen, this was a team this year that let's give them the proper tag. Sneaky good. You know, they overperformed in games you didn't expect them to perform, and they performed about at their, strength against some certain teams as well. But definitely towards the end, it seemed to be some momentum building. Shout out to Rashad White. Sorry, I'm getting all of those names. Still working on. Anyway, absolute ballers over there, and they've been looking a lot better. Now, one of the keys there has been Mr. 1,000-yard season, Mike Evans. And, some questions up in the air on what's going to go on with him. And all those questions have pretty much been solved right now, as he even went to Twitter. Why is it not showing that? I'm on the wrong Twitter. That would be why. There we go. Mike Evans, fire the cannons. And then with the Wolf of Wall Street gif, he's not fucking leaving. So shout out Mike Evans and them get a deal done. And keeps him in there. I believe it's a 2-year, $52 million deal, $35 million of it guaranteed. And so that domino falls. And so it's now time for the next one to fall. And that is going to be the secret sauce to the Buccaneers' success over the next couple of years. And that, of course, is nothing else than Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield, reportedly may hit free agency, test those waters a little bit, but I really think after signing Mike Evans, Mike Evans isn't going to leave if they don't have a solid back, if they don't have a solid guy throwing him the ball so he can continue to put up those years. He's already got a Super Bowl ring, so hey, let's just go ahead, let's get stats and see what we can do and enjoy his time, in Tampa Bay, which I can't blame him there. Enjoy it, brother. Enjoy it while you can. But he's going to be out there, and so Baker Mayfield is going to be that target there. Unless, they had conversations behind closed doors about other people that may be available. You know what I mean? You look at a Kirk Cousins, you look at a Justin Fields, maybe available. You'll look at a Russell Wilson, who's now available. We're going to get to that again in just a moment. But either way, that doesn't seem kind of how the tea leaves are coming up to me. I think Baker Mayfield's going to stay there in Tampa. From everything that I've heard, from everything I've seen, they love the guy. They loved what he did for him. And hey, he still's got a lot. He has still got a lot. Baker Mayfield, I think, just starting to enter those best football years for him. And so let him get down there in Tampa with Mike Evans and the boys, which again would be great. I think Tampa Bay needs it. Keep Baker, because I don't think that they got that Kyle Trask kid, don't they? That's not going too well, it doesn't seem like. Oh, beautiful. As we're getting into the meat and the bones, I hear a choo-choo coming. As we get into, the meat and bones of what's been going on into the NFL today. Joining me now, the man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamonds. All hail the king of the links, the prop prince himself, the money train. Noah, how you doing on a Monday, buddy?
I mean, it's a Monday, but hey, we got our very first rounds of 1 or 2 conference tournaments in college basketball. It's getting started underway. Going to pick up even more as the week goes on. Looking forward to all that. We're going to see who's going to punch the first tickets.
It's the ASUN that's going right now, right?
Who's going to earn the right to beat Purdue in the first round?
Oh, yeah, honestly.
The ASUN today.
Shout out to the ASUN getting it started.
Yep, that is the only one. So we got the first round of the ASUN tournament today.
Hell yeah.
Looks like we're at halftime. Kennesaw State down 2 to Jacksonville. Queens up 4 on Florida Gulf Coast.
That's not bad.
And that is Queens, I believe, one of the Carolinas. Not to be confused with Queens, New York.
Yeah, because they would definitely get pissed off if you were confusing them with another Queens. We don't want to do that on this show. We're not about that.
No.
No. We would never. do that. But Noah, we got a lot of college basketball to talk, especially with, as you mentioned, conference champions getting started and everything. But before we do that, it was also a big week in the NFL. And it's kind of funny, Noah, every single time I think, okay, I have time to really sit down and focus on the NHL, NBA, college basketball. The NFL is like, oh, by the way, here is everything that we've been holding back the last 2 weeks and a lot more of it to come. But I think we got to get to the biggest news of the day, Noah. The biggest news with, I think, I don't know if it has the most I don't know if it has as much gravity as maybe people are saying. It's just kind of almost a relief that it's happened and finally done and over with. The Broncos are no longer riding.
Unlimited.
The Broncos are no longer riding. They are no longer unlimited. It is no longer Team 3's team. Russell Wilson, and even posting something here. Essentially just a thank you to everybody who was a part of the organization and everything.
Let's ride.
I did see a tweet that was floating around for a little bit, Noah, that did say there was a redacted part that told Sean Payton to go F himself after this season. But I don't know. That may just be speculation on my part. But, I mean...
We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, man, though. But the Broncos, the big losers here. $85 million dead cap space over... And they can only stretch that over the next 2 seasons. So they're eating. I don't know how they're breaking that up, but
I believe the way I saw it was, and it all depends on if he's a June 1 or a post June 1 or not. And I don't think he's going to be a post June 1.
No. They informed him that they were going to release him after March 13th when the NFL calendar New Year resets.
New Year. That makes sense. So he's going to be a pre June 1 cut. So I believe they're splitting it 32.5 and 28.5 or some shit like that. Or however that math works out.
Well,
but
it's 85 total, so
that math doesn't work out. Listen, I just remember looking at the numbers and thinking, I have a hard time if I spend $12 on a Chipotle burrito, throwing away that last little bit of guac in there.
Chipotle burrito for 12 with guac.
Well, I guess that was like 4 months ago, and then I went in again, and it was like $17, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this. Right. So, but still, you know what I mean? Like, I got an issue throwing that away, and they're throwing away $40 million for the next 2 years in dead cap. No quarterback on the roster worth a damn. Let's be clear there. There's quarterbacks on the roster that their job description is quarterbacking in the NFL, but I don't know if I would strap a rocket to any of them. And so the Broncos are in a really shitty position here. And it almost makes me think that this was, I hate to say it, the plan all along. I mean, it was almost clear from the beginning. Sean Payton wanted no part of Russell Wilson whatsoever. And so this, he almost warned everyone, yes, we are going to just get him off the books as soon as possible, take the biggest hit we possibly can, record-breaking hit. It was the next 3 that were the record-breaking dead cap hits in the NFL. That's what adds up to this one cap hit here, Noah. So, it almost feels like Sean Payton was like, listen, this is what we're doing. And fire me, but all of my shit's guaranteed. So I don't care, but.
Yeah, I mean, because I think this is a little bit bigger than the dead cap hit the Packers had to take for Rodgers.
Oh my God. Rodgers wasn't even on the list comparatively.
He should have been. The Packers luckily were able to stretch that over 3 years. Because I think they took about a $45 million hit this past season, and then it's around 20 this next season, and then there's less than 10 million the season after. So
makes sense.
I mean, collectively pretty close, but still not the same number.
All right, so here's how it's breaking down for the largest dead cap hit in history. Russell Wilson at 85 mil, Matt Ryan at 40.53. Yep, there's Rodgers at 40.31, and then Carson Wentz at 33.8, and then Russell Wilson again.
Oh Lord!
And
Russ is getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, he's still getting money. It doesn't matter. Shout out to Russ. They're having a good agent and everything like that. But Noah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We have our fun with Mr. Unlimited and everything like that, and the Danger Us sandwich that we never got a chance to try because it was taken off the market so fast. But, you look at him and he wants to compete. This is not going to be his last stop in the NFL. I guess my question is not where he's going to go first, but is it going to be as a starter or is it going to be as a backup?
I think he'll be a starter somewhere. I think number one place that I'd maybe be looking at for him would be Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I know
I'd
they
see
came
that.
out and said that, we haven't seen the end of Kenny Pickett yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh wants to keep him as a backup, bring in a veteran like Russ. They can probably get Russ, I would assume, at this point in his career on like a 20 mil a year type of deal.
Oh, so I read something fun that was he could take the vet minimum of like just the overall NFL vet minimum and still get paid his full contract from Denver for the season. So if he really wants to be a dog for a team, he's like, yeah, I'll come in on vet min. I'm still getting paid. Like he's still getting paid his full contract from the Broncos. And so, yeah, that makes sense. He goes to the Steelers, says, listen, one time only, vet min, let's roll. Let's ride.
Yeah, I think he'll get more than the vet minimum. Like I said, I like him working out a 2 to 3 year deal somewhere for like 20 mil a year.
Okay.
Nothing monumental, but I think 20 is probably a fair number for a guy with the experience that Russell has. And I think he's still got some good football in him. I think he's got to get paired with the right coach and everything. Another place to look, I could see him potentially being a Viking if they don't work anything out with Kirk, who, by the way,
we're going there, Zach. We're going there in a sec. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, Kirk, who's expected to reset the quarterback market with his expected value, I think I saw north of 50 mil a year. I don't know if the Vikings want to pay him that.
I don't know if anyone wants to pay him that. Are you kidding me?
The Falcons do. I've seen.
Yeah, well, the Falcons also want literally everyone and their mom to be their next quarterback that's have any experience in the NFL. I'm sure they've made a call out to Cam Newton already, too, just in case shit falls through.
So, reportedly with the Falcons, number one priority is Kirk Cousins if the Vikings don't re-sign him. And then they want Baker after that. And if neither of those guys are available as free agents, the Falcons can't sign any, then they will look to trading for Justin Fields as their third option. But the Falcons are hoping to sign a veteran quarterback in the free agent market and not have to give up any draft capital or anything like that. So they really want Kirk O'Chain's down in Atlanta. And if they can't
Grills down in Atlanta.
If they can't get Kirk, then they're looking at Baker. But now Russell being available, I wouldn't be surprised if, Kirk and Baker don't work out, if the Falcons decide to go with Russell Wilson because they can sign him as a free agent rather than having to trade for a guy like Fields.
Yeah, and I mean, that would make me feel a lot better because I really don't know who else would be a viable, who else would want Fields that's not drafting a quarterback this cycle.
Well, this
outside of Atlanta.
Back to the Steelers, they're a team that's been rumored to be a potential trade partner for the Bears if the Bears decide to move off of Fields.
But how do you sell that move? Hey, guys, listen, we know Kenny Pickett hasn't been doing so well, so we're going to go and get this other quarterback that was not been playing the best, and we're going to see how that happens.
Well, there's still this feel in a lot of the NFL community that Justin Fields has this immense potential that he just hasn't been able to reach with the Bears. So I do think there is some value there. What I have seen recently, trade comp for Justin Fields is like a high second round pick. I don't know that he'll garner a first round pick like Bears fans would hope for. I think if you trade him off your books, I think maybe you get a second round pick or you're swapping firsts for a team in the top 10 already, but wanting to trade up to 1.
And that's kind of where I'm at too, because yes, Justin Fields, I'm with where those comps are at. A second round pick, I think is, maybe a second round, you get a kicker in there, like a pending,
or like a second and a fifth, or a second and a player,
or a fifth that can go up to a fourth if so many conditions are met or something like that. Like that's something I can go to sleep at and feel good about the Chicago Bears if that's the deal they end up getting for Justin Fields. With that being said, I still don't want him off the books. I still don't want him gone. I still want him as a Chicago Bear, but
I could see a team giving a conditional second though, kind of like the Rodgers deal with Green Bay. Like a second, and then if Fields meets certain metrics or whatever, then that second turns into a first. Like I could see a deal like that going down.
I wouldn't hate that
potentially, but I don't think he's going to get an outright top 10 first round pick. Like I don't think his value is high enough because whoever's trading for Fields is betting on his potential and his ceiling, not based on what he has done in his 3 years in the league.
So who would you rather have start? Because this is another name I've been hearing thrown around a little bit. Would you rather have Justin Fields under center or Sam Darnold?
Oh, Fields.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to hear
Darnold's a backup. And that's all. That's
all right.
The best.
Okay. All right. And all right. Would you rather have Fields or Trey Lance?
Fields.
I'm with you. Trey Lance is another name that I've been hearing. Like, yes, the Cowboys just quote unquote re-signed him or gave him a bonus or something. And so he's still kind of locked up there, but still a quarterback. I mean, he's what, third on that depth chart behind Cooper Rush, right?
Yeah. I think if you're a team that has the salary cap and the money available, I do think Kirk is the number one guy out there. Question is, do you want to pay him $55 million a year?
So you'd rather have Kirk over Russ?
Yeah,
I'm with you there too. Because,
but I would take both Kirk and Baker over Fields. I would take Fields over Russ. But then you got the question of, do you want to give up trade capital to get Fields versus just paying Russ as a free agent?
So and no, maybe I'm off here. Maybe I haven't watched enough Kirk Cousins tape in the last couple of months, but when I watched Kirk Cousins play and when I watched him play with the Vikings, and especially that nice run they went on a couple seasons ago, where you and I especially were just waiting for them to crash and burn, and we had to wait till the fucking playoffs for that to happen. But Kirk Cousins, when I look at him, he is not a guy that when he goes out there, he is going to make everybody better. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that in his game. He's going to go out there and hold on. He's going to go out there and he's going to make the best throws, the most accurate throws, and good decision throws. But he's also not going to go out there and turn, a mediocre wide receiver into a star wide receiver. Like, that's just not the type of player he is. And so, yes, I would give him 50 million, 50.5 million, whatever the fuck he wants. If I already got that team, if I've got the 49ers.
Or Atlanta, we
don't know Atlanta has that team. It just looks like it on paper, and they were managed by Artie Smith last year. We don't know if Atlanta has that team.
Well, the thing, like, you take Atlanta with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier in the backfield, and then you got Kyle Pitts, Drake London, who are both supposed to be really, really good, and they have not been really, really good, but they've had Desmond Ridder throwing them the ball. So, you replace a guy like Desmond Ridder with a Kirk Cousins and those caliber of players, maybe Pitts lives up to or gets close to what we were expecting Pitts to be, which is a generational tight end. And Drake London's supposed to be a really damn good receiver. And you got great running backs in the backfield. Add one more receiver, potentially Justin Jefferson, and then maybe they save the trade capital on the quarterback. So when, if the Vikings don't re-sign Kirk, Justin Jefferson's going to demand a trade. Maybe Atlanta brings Jay Jettas, keeps him and Kirk together, and then you have a really, really dangerous offense there in Atlanta.
Oh, man. I will just say really quick, this is one thing I love about the NFL. You know what I mean? We're talking about a team last season who it was literally a coin flip on who their quarterback was going to be starting that week. And then it was a coin flip if they were going to complete half of their passes. And so, like, for them to go to that, and then we're talking about Kirk Cousins going there. We're talking about possibly Justin Jefferson demanding a trade and Minnesota giving into that trade and everything. I mean, the Falcons just then became Super Bowl contenders. Am I wrong?
Division favorites. They still have some other issues on defense to iron out, but they'll definitely have a winning record. I mean, now the thing is, if you're trading for Jefferson, that's going to be at least a first round pick. Plus, but I think you take that any day of the week if you're the Falcons and the Vikings are willing to trade him. If you go and sign Kirk in free agency, I think you give up your first round pick, and that's a top 10, right? Or close to it.
Their first, that's a number 8 right now.
Yeah, so I think you have no problem if you're Atlanta trading the number 8 pick and then maybe a second or third round pick, either in this draft or a following year, for a guy like Justin Jefferson, who is probably the best receiver in the league, still in his rookie contract for one more year.
And I think that's part of the issue, though. because you're also sitting there at 8. You can go and get, this is, as we've talked about, this is a good wide receiver and offensive line draft class. And I think the combine proved that more. So then just go to the draft or even maybe see if you can fuck around, trade up to a team. Like if the Commanders end up signing one or the Patriots end up signing one, get Marvin Harrison Jr. then. Because then you're getting a rookie on a rookie deal, fresh rookie deal.
But Atlanta's got the cap space, and I think you would rather have Justin Jefferson. You know exactly what you're getting with him rather than taking a gamble. Now, it's a pretty safe gamble on a lot of these top receivers in this draft, but, we see it every year. There's a couple guys who just, are top 10 or 15 picks that just don't end up working out. And why risk that when you can package the number 8 with probably a second or a third and bring in a guy like Justin Jefferson, who, if you are bringing in Kirk, he's got that relationship built up.
Yeah.
That
you automatically have chemistry there. So even if it takes a while to develop with everybody else, he and Justin Jefferson are going to be chilling. Damn, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then if your number 2 and 3 options are Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and you got a guy like Bijan coming out of the backfield, I mean, that's a top 5, maybe even top 3 firepower offense in the entire league.
All right, so let's go ahead and make the Falcons better as we're continuing to talk about this. What if, you know what I mean? Bijan again. I don't think we've seen the full potential of Bijan Robinson, or am I saying it wrong? Bijan? Is that how he prefers it?
Yeah, although he's come out and said like you can call him Bijan. He responds to Bijan as well, but his name is technically pronounced Bijan. Yeah.
Bijan. Well, I think that's more badass, so I'm going to call him that anyway. But I don't think we've seen I don't think we've even seen glimpses of how good Bijan Robinson can be outside of those times they had the you remember those sky cam videos they had on him running fucking the ball, and that was awesome. Need more of that. Need that about 50
or the little Toy Story animation.
That's still all time. That is still all time. What a fever dream that was. That was all time. But what if, and again, put your tinfoil hat on here. There's a lot of running backs on the market too. Let's go get him a buddy. In the backfield.
I don't think you need that because you also have Algier on his rookie deal.
Oh, you're right. My bad. That's my B.
And that's Tyler Algier, who's been 1,000-yard rusher for 2 years in a row.
I said my B. I said that's my B. All right. Mind fart, brain fart. All right. My B. But Noah,
if Atlanta makes the right moves, they could be a threat.
They could absolutely be a threat.
And they have the cap to do so. So we'll see what they end up.
And I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of hoping they do that now. I'm kind of hoping they go get Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson forces a trade out of there. And then we just see what the boys can do. That'd be fun. I'd like to get them out of the NFC North. Yeah, that'd be nice too. Let's get them out of the NFC North.
And yeah, I mean, Kirk's going to get a bigger contract than I would probably want to pay him. But you look at what the Vikings have done and then when Kirk Cousins has been out, he's a big difference maker. And I do think there's a chance that the Vikings still sign him, but it is seeming more and more like the Vikings aren't going to be able to pay Kirk what he wants. And let's not forget about the fact that Kirk Cousins has played the system and the way NFL contracts work better than anybody else. He has made so much damn money in the NFL, and he'll continue to do so. He's going to probably go out and get the highest salary of any quarterback, at least, until some of these other guys' rookie deals are up, and then they're going to go above him. But yeah, don't be surprised to see him get, somewhere between 50 and 55 mil a year for a 2 or 3 year deal.
Do you think there is an outside chance that the Falcons have enough cap room to absorb Kyler Murray's contract? Can we throw that out into the universe?
Do you think they would want to, AJ?
Well, it does, I believe, become a little bit more tradable after this season. And so they go ahead and they pick it up. They get a quote-unquote franchise quarterback. Cardinals are right there at 4. We get a quarterback. Hopefully, Michael Penix Jr. That would be my pick personally. But at least from what would be available at 4 there. Give me a Michael Penix Jr. there. We get Kyler Murray off of our books. And then I'm all of a sudden a really happy Cardinals fan. No, that would be awesome.
You wouldn't even need to take Penix there because Penix is being graded out as the 5th or 6th quarterback off the board.
I think that's Yeah, I know
It's
that's what the grades are
supposed to
coming
be
out. I don't agree
supposed
with
to
the
be
grades.
yeah, it's supposed to be Caleb Williams and Drake May. And then
Jaden.
I always get confused if it's Jaden or Jalen.
Jaden is the quarterback.
Jalen's at Kansas.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and then somehow, some way, fucking JJ McCarthy's sitting there as the fourth highest graded quarterback.
That has been, in my opinion, that has been the most mind-blowing shit going into the combine and coming out of the combine was how many of these teams have a high grade.
He's really good at handing the ball off.
He's great at handing the ball off. I mean, and I watched, I made sure to watch those, premier quarterbacks in the combine clips and everything like that. And personally didn't really do anything for me when he was throwing the football. It looked like he was at Michigan, which again, I mean, he didn't win the national championship off of his arm. And so I don't know. That would be a Cardinals move though. That would be a Cardinals move. We trade Kyler Murray, we draft JJ McCarthy, and then we rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Just continue my misery. But no, I mean, anyway, back to Russell really quick. Quick. All right. I still kind of like the idea we floated out there when all this drama started happening. The season came to an end. And, we were talking a little bit about Russ taking a backseat, going in as a backup to the New York Jets and backing up Aaron Rodgers so that they can make sure that they at least have a quarterback during the season.
I don't see that happening. I could see the Jets drafting a quarterback in like the second, maybe the third round. Have a rookie to sit there behind Rodgers for at least one season. I don't know who's. Yeah, of course my mouse isn't working, but who's kind of sitting there as like a second or third round talent for quarterback.
Oh, Lord, give me a second. All right, second, third round for quarterback. Let me just pull it up here real quick. Oh, fuck. All right. So Caleb, Jaden, Drake, JJ. So you're looking at maybe a Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt, Sam Hartman.
I could see like a Bo Nix or a Sam Hartman maybe going to the Jets, like I said, second, third round, something like that. Like I said, with all intentions of sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, maybe two if he's coming back for more. And I think that's a wonderful situation if you're one of those quarterbacks to get drafted there and to be able to learn from Rodgers. And, God forbid if something happens, he gets injured again, then you're in there. But Jets have good weapons to throw too, so.
Yeah, and so you got a guy like Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., who's been playing football a long time. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They've just been playing college football a long time. At some point,
Bo Nix more than any other player ever.
But you look at a Sam Hartman, and then even Jordan Travis sitting there at number 11. I mean, he's kind of getting the Hendon Hooker treatment from last season, where Hendon Hooker was having a Heisman season, blows out his knee, and then he drops the Lions in the second round. And he's been sitting behind Jared Goff. I think he's still going to go out there and do great things. I'd be worried about a Sam Hartman, Jordan Travis, fall into one of those teams that has a decent quarterback, like you mentioned, the Jets to sit behind, or like the Falcons, if they end up fucking around and drafting a quarterback at some point, sitting behind a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I just think, I think Bo Nix would be a perfect one for the Jets, just because Sam Hartman, Jordan Travis, a little bit different skill sets from what Rodgers would have, whereas Bo Nix would be perfect understudy for Aaron Rodgers. And Bo Nix, I think, would crash and burn if he had to go out and be a day one starter in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
But if he's getting a year or two behind Aaron Rodgers on the bench, I think he could be a dangerous quarterback coming out year 2, year 3 and start for that Jets team. So, I love the shit on Bo Nix, but I think that would be an ideal situation for a guy like him.
Yes. I'm with you.
I do think Russ is going to be a starter. I don't think he's going to be a backup. Like I said, I think Kirk's going to end up on the Falcons. I think the Vikings are going to replace Kirk with Baker Mayfield. I think Russ is going to go to the Steelers. And I don't know if the Bears are going to have a favorable trade partner for Justin Fields.
So, okay, hold on. Let me throw the one wrench into this master plan of yours. The Bucks just re-signed Mike Evans today.
The Bucks could trade for Fields. They have the cap
I don't
space.
think. No, hold the fuck up. Mike Evans doesn't re-sign with the Bucks there if Baker Mayfield's not coming back as a quarterback and they're not already working something out there. I don't think Baker touches free agency. I think the Bucks re-sign him before anyone has a chance to talk to him.
Russ could go to Tampa Bay too. Hey, I'm all in favor. If the Bucks want to re-sign Baker, that's great because that means they're probably not re-signing Antoine Winfield Jr., who will
They'll tag him.
No, because
they'll tag him.
No, because Winfield's about to be paid as the highest safety in the NFL. He's going to top that market
next year,
and he's one guy. Year. He's one guy that I'm hoping ends up on the Packers, but we'll see.
They're gonna tag Anton Winfield Jr. tomorrow, and or they're gonna sign Baker and sign him.
I don't think they do both. I think it's Baker or Winfield.
The cap went up a lot of fucking money this year, dude. I don't think.
I know, but then that limits what the Bucks can do, and then you're basically running it back with the same team you had last year, which
had a lot of
which took until the last week of the season to win the division, and then you beat a Eagles team that was in a full tailspin.
But Tampa, I think you can agree, as the season went on, like towards the back tail end especially, was looking like a cohesive team that had chemistry, had all of this and that. And Tampa Bay Baker got a little bit of his swagger back, bro. I see. If they run it back next year, I think they're going to be in a great spot.
Baker's going to be wearing purple.
That would be insane. I don't think Baker's wearing purple. I think he's too old. Vikings are going for this youth movement right now, bro. They're going to the draft. They're going to the draft. And I mean,
I don't think so, but
I think they're gonna. Dude, I would. So okay, this is no research whatsoever. This is just kind of what I'm feeling right now. I wouldn't be shocked if I think they're sitting right there at 12. I wouldn't be shocked for the Vikings to go with a Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., one of those guys, 11, excuse me. That's a little bit older, got experience. And, they roll the dice and see if it can translate.
Could be. Would be interesting.
Would be.
Obviously, you got like 4 or 5 teams solidly in the market for a quarterback, whether they go veteran or rookie in the draft. We'll see. We'll find out.
Is it pretty much a done deal? I mean, well, now that we've talked about these quarterbacks and everything, I think the Bears are trading out of the number 1. Where it seems like all these quarterbacks are going to kind of slip and fall into place. It seems like the Bears are going to have no option but to trade the number 1 pick.
Yeah, well, you have 2 courses of action if you're the Bears, and that's draft Caleb Williams, number 1 overall, or you are staying with Fields, and then there's no need to be at number 1 when you're going to see 2 or 3 quarterbacks go in the top 3, and you trade back to 4 or 5 and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I think it's kind of a win-win for the Bears, whatever they end up doing. I just don't know that there's going to be a ton of trade value there for Fields, considering now having potentially Kirk Cousins, potentially Baker Mayfield, and also Russell Wilson in the free agency market, because I think if you're a team looking for a quarterback, you just sign one of those 3 guys over giving up draft picks or players to get Fields.
I'm there. And I think it will, stronghold the Bears into keeping Justin Fields and showing that he is worth re-signing for the next year, or will end up as the number 1 pick again. It's fine. The Bears are used to being in the number 1 pick.
Well, and if you trade back like they did last year to like a New England or Washington or something like that, there's a good chance that team ends up being shitty again, and you're left with another top 5 pick out of the deal. So
exactly. And then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Justin Fields having a good time, some Ohio State alum.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world for the Bears to just stick it out with Fields and keep amassing those draft picks. And they got plenty of cap space too, so they can bring in guys through free agency as well.
And the Commanders have been, almost gushing over Caleb Williams. They went and signed his quarterback coach, who has as I've experienced, less than stellar record in the NFL. And so, yeah, let the Commanders give you a boatload for that number 1 pick. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2. I'll cry at number 4 because now who the fuck are the Cardinals going to draft? And then we'll just go ahead and go from there.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
I literally have to sacrifice the Cardinals or the Bears for my happiness in the NFL next season.
Well, the Cardinals are kind of a dumpster fire. The Bears are.
I know, dude. Fuck.
The Bears are actually starting to figure shit out and move in the right direction. So,
is it bad? I almost don't want Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I don't want to do that to him. Like, I don't want him to be the next Larry Fitzgerald.
He won't. He'll be a Bear. It'll be fine.
Oh, please. Oh, my God. Him and Justin Fields linking up. Let's go.
Yeah.
But
anyways, we got a little over a week.
Sorry, one more thing on the NFL real quick, Noah.
Yeah.
I think bigger news than, again, it's just kind of a day where stuff came out that we were expecting. Jason Kelce officially retiring from the NFL. You have anything to say on that? I already went on the fact that he's a legend and everything like that, but any comments or anything about that?
Oh, yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. I loved in his speech, his little tidbit about Nick Foles.
Man with the biggest dick in his locker room.
Uh-huh.
Calling for the Philly. Love it.
Love to see it. But yeah, hey, great career for Jason Kelce.
First ballot?
I think so. I mean, he's been, in his 13 years in the league, he's been one of, if not the best centers every single year. He's had a Hall of Fame career. I think he should be first ballot.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you. He's amazing. I'm sorry, Noah, before I cut you off, I was so rudely interrupting a beautiful transition you're in the middle of.
I was going to say, we got a little over a week until the NFL New Year, and we're probably on March 13th and after, we are probably going to see a lot of movement once that free agency period opens up. I think dominoes are going to start falling pretty fast, and so we shouldn't have too much news in the next week and a half. But once the 13th hits, it's going to be floodgates are going to open, and we're going to see a lot of movement and start to get the picture of what next year is going to look like roster wise.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Finally starting everything to form before the draft, and then the draft takes place. And yet all of these running backs will still be on the free agent market. Unbelievable.
And get about 2 cents in a bag of chips.
Do you think they're getting the bag of chips too?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Feeling generous.
Wow. I hope the GMs are feeling that generous, Noah, but I don't know. If they're going to the Cardinals, they're definitely paying for those chips. But
yeah, they're all going to be underpaid, though. That's the unfortunate thing about being a running back.
Yeah, got to be underpaid, especially now.
Which is why I'm like, hey, Packers, bring in Derrick Henry for just $4 million a year.
Dude,
I'm just salivating over the potential of a Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones backfield.
That's not bad. But I have been hearing rumbles, and I think we heard these rumbles a little bit last year when the whole running back market was not where anyone thought it would be at. But given a waiver, you know what I mean? These running backs in college, not making them play the 3 years, making them play 2 instead, so they can save some hits, save some usage, and then go to the NFL and try to hit that second contract where the money's made. I mean, honestly, the way the running backs are going, I think you give them a waiver out of high school at this point, or maybe you just make them play a freshman year, a one and done like we see in college basketball.
Yeah.
But it's just coming down to the fact that these running backs are hitting their prime in their college career, and then
not even necessarily. I mean, you look at a guy like Josh Jacobs, who
fair.
is still very young. The Raiders didn't want to tag him or sign him because his expected contract's about $10 million a year, which is just, as much as it sucks, because you got receivers making, the receiver market's probably going to be set at about 31, 32 for the highest paid receiver. You got quarterbacks making $50 million a year. You got, offensive linemen and defensive players making $20 million a year, and running backs are struggling to even clear 10. And it's a very valuable position, but
yes,
these teams all have the same viewpoint, the same approach. And it's like, well, we can get a guy for cheap right out of college, younger, with less miles on him. And that seems to be the only position you talk about players having too many miles on them.
Miles, yeah.
And it sucks for the running backs. If you're a parent, don't have your kid play running back because have him be a receiver. Like, unless you're Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Or have him be a receiving wideout and a receiving back. Like, it's...
Yeah, unless you have wide receiver skills out of the backfield, like, you're going to get the short end of the stick. You're not going to get paid what you probably deserve.
But I think we're going to start seeing that transition in the NFL for these running backs turning into wideout backs, you know what I mean, or whatever the hell you want to call them now, because everyone is seeing the success Christian McCaffrey's having and that he's the only running back that's really been paid over the last couple of years. And so, hey, that's working for him. Let's see if it'll work for me. And so I think in the college game, especially this season and next season, going to start seeing a lot more of those running backs with a wide receiver skill set.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is if you have that skill set, you just go play receiver because you get hit less, you get paid more. If you can catch the ball like that, why would you want to run it out of the backfield?
That's very true. That's very true, Noah. I got nothing else on that. Got anything else on the NFL and the crazy weekend, combine weekend, everything like that?
Nope, not right now. Other than, don't give a rat's ass about 40 times because they really don't fucking matter.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
If you want to pay attention to one thing, look at the speed and the accuracy on like the gauntlet drill for the wide receivers, not their 40 time, because we've seen guys with slower 40 times run a quicker gauntlet drill.
Yes.
Which that's real-time play speed. That's what you care about, not who can sprint 40 yards the fastest.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say the one thing I do like about combine time, especially nowadays, is you get all of these ex-athletes on Twitter or just people with random ass opinions. And one of the things I heard was have all the defensive backs, run the 40 out of their back pedal. And so make them back pedal for 5 yards and then let them turn on the jets and see what they go for from there to get and I think that's great because you actually then get to see them open up the hips and turn the burners on. And, that's
they have
the
drills
difference.
for that.
Yeah, I know, but that'd be cooler. Make the 40 more realistic. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know. I'm not here to solve the combine. That's the least of my worries, Noah. Because the NCAA is trying to fix March Madness, so thank God for that. Have you heard about this?
Bro, there's nothing wrong with March Madness.
But the NCAA wants to fix it, Noah.
It's perfect.
The NCAA wants to fix it, Noah, because it knows that you know that it could be better. And that's what they want to do.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's the most beautiful tournament there is.
Noah, they want to add more teams. All right, they want to add more teams. They want to make the conference championship weeks mean absolutely nothing. And then they, what was the last part? What was the last part? Oh, yeah, and then they're going to a complete committee style. So, like what we have for college football. But except these people certifiably never watch basketball.
I think, it's a committee of 10, I think.
It's something like that, yeah.
Which, to me, seems like too few people, because if one or two have a weird, either way over positive or over negative opinion on one team, that could hold them out, give them much better seating, much worse seating than they deserve.
Well, not to mention, those people are also probably not watching mid-majors.
Well,
they're watching those one.
It's impossible. There's too many college basketball games going on to watch all of them.
I know. It should be, but how do you fix it?
I don't know. I don't think it needs to be fixed. I think March Madness is it's a beautiful, perfect tournament system, and it works.
But the NCAA says it's broken, Noah.
Well, the NCAA is run by a bunch of dumbasses, and I think we've gone over that before.
We have, but I guess, hold on. This does bring up kind of an interesting question because I would agree with you that March Madness is one of the best sporting events of the year, obviously. And the only thing the NCAA does right, we'll see what happens with the 12-team playoff this year. But is there anything you would change about it? Is there anything honest to God, I've thought about it. The only thing I would change about it is making round one, the days of round one, a national holiday, so I don't have to take it off work.
I like that. That's a good plan. But no, I think the tournament's great how it is. I don't really see a need to change anything about it. You could I mean, I guess you could add like another 4 or 8 teams maybe and make all of those. Like if you made all 4 11 seeds or 12 seeds, well, probably not the 12s. If you made all 4 of the 11s play-in games and you had power conference teams in all of those play-in games, and they're the power conference teams that are kind of on the bubble, you're like, should they be in? Should they not? They have to play in a play-in game for an 11 seed. So you got 8 power conference teams. And then you could make all 4 of the 16s. You could also expand it to all 4 of the 15s. Small mid-major conference teams that won their tournament. And you make those 16 and 15 games all play-ins and all the 11s, but I wouldn't expand it farther than that. That would give us 64 plus 12. That would make it 76 teams total. Yeah, but I wouldn't go farther than that.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't even go that far. I mean,
I don't think you need to. I think it's, like I said, I think it's great how it is. But if you're going to expand, I think that's what you do. But if we're talking expansion, we need more mid-major teams, and we don't need more power conference teams that just flop in the first round.
I'm with you. And I think, and I kind of like from a business standpoint, because at the end of the day, these are all businesses, they want more games on the slate. They want more advertising dollars to be able to be shown. Noah, we've been doing a college basketball live stream for round 1 through 2 for the last 4 years. This is about to be our 4th year doing it. When the fuck can they put another game on the schedule?
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, are you expecting?
Like, I don't know. And that's my thing. Like, yes, you're doing it for ad dollars and everything like that. But who the hell is going to watch all these other games? Are you going to, like, bro, are we literally going to go from 8 o'clock in the morning to fucking midnight every night?
Right. And also, like, who are you expecting to tune into a 16 seed play-in game between Norfolk State and Grambling State?
Seriously.
At 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? Like, people are working.
Well, time out. We would.
Right.
But that's also the issue. Is only we would. Us and the other degenerates out there. Like, we would.
Well, we got jobs, so we wouldn't at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon do a game like that. Like I'm not.
ESPN Plus on the phone has been a lifesaver at work.
But I'm not taking off of work or anything like that to watch a game like that.
No,
in the middle of the day on a weekday.
No, but I'll take time off on a Thursday and a Friday, have a nice long weekend, and just sit on my couch and watch college basketball. But don't be changing. Why fix what's not broken? I don't get it.
Exactly.
I don't get it. Speaking of which, Noah, you mind if we take a quick break before we get into the college basketball?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. We will take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back covering college basketball AP Top 25 and anything else that catches our attention. As damn it, I was hoping honestly we were going to see a court storm with NC State Duke, but Duke's pulling away now, very comfortably.
Get another Filipowski injury.
Hey, did you see
a high ankle sprain that he was back from 2 days later?
Can I show you my favorite tweet from this weekend?
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me get her pulled up. Where is it?
Leave it to Duke to overplay an injury that much, too. An injury that's usually a multi-week injury, and then players back looking just fine 2 days later.
Bro, they made it sound season ending, like he was never going to play basketball again. And then this is what he did this weekend. Oh, nope, fuck me. There we go. Kyle Filipowski throwing down windmills just a week after nearly getting killed during a court storm.
Yep.
I mean, the biggest overreact. Like, okay.
Leave it to Duke.
What's a bigger overreaction? Duke and the court storming, or Texas fans and horns down?
The horns down butt hurtness is worse, in my opinion. Like, cry me a fucking river. So much worse gets said at any college event, especially that you're rivals with, than horns down. Like, you're just gonna bitch and moan and cry about this. Like hate ASU, but you don't see them bitching and crying about our basketball players putting the forks down.
Yeah, we put forks down all the time. That's all we do. We walk in there, we put the forks down, we get Loot ejected, and we keep. I'm sorry, not Loot, Hurley. Bobby Hurley. We get Bobby Hurley ejected, and then he yells at the crowd, and we have a good time.
Yeah, so, that's the one nice thing I'll say about ASU is they don't bitch and moan about that like fucking Texas, who's just a
True.
bunch of fucking crybabies.
It
That's
really
all they
is.
are. They're a bunch of little crybabies that
It
have
really is.
thin skin.
The thinnest. And they're not even good at sports.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they
Texas
did
is
make
back, though. Remember, Texas is back, Noah.
they did make the college football playoff, but not looking great in basketball this year, so.
Oh, man. Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning starting next year?
Quinn.
I know.
Isn't Arch transferring?
I mean, I thought he was going to. I haven't seen anything on that.
I thought didn't he enter the transfer portal?
Well, let me find out.
Oh, no.
No.
And Sark says Arch Manning will have definite playing time next season.
Oh, perfect. So fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. Need you to knee the ball out, bud.
He'll play the second half of their non-conference games.
Okay, fair. They'll get up by 30.
When they're up by 30, yeah.
Last thing on college football, Noah. Did you see that 10,000 players signed up for the NIL deal?
Already, yep. Going to be more. Nearly 90%. All right. Yeah, whoever's not, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. You're still getting put in the game.
Yeah.
Like what I read is they're gonna have the stats consistent with those players, but if a player opts out, they're just gonna have a generic face and no last name on their jersey. So like you're still in the game. But they also said custom players, you will not be allowed to use a name of a player that opted out.
I saw that
as a custom player, but they're still going to put you in the game with your stats. They're just going to make the player not look like you and not have your name on the back of the jersey. So,
yeah,
I mean,
doesn't really make sense.
Like, just take the $600 and the free copy of the game at that point. Like, who cares?
Might as well.
I mean, Caleb Williams would be the type of guy who's like, I'm proving a point. I mean, he did say that even though he's graduating, so he won't even be in the fucking game to begin with. But man. Like, I just don't understand why you opt out of that. I mean, I get like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough for blah, blah, blah. It's like, who cares? You're still going to be in the damn game regardless.
Yeah, shut up.
They're just not going to use your face and name.
And again, you're bitching about being in a video game.
You'll just be quarterback number 9.
Oh, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. All right, no, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we will be back breaking down college basketball in the AP Top 25. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. We will be right back.
What did you say?
All right. Yep. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. And we are back. What is up, D-Gens? I'm the Brofect1 AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah, coming at you live. And Noah, before we talk college basketball, before we talk men's college basketball, I think we would be remiss not to talk about arguably the greatest college women's basketball player, greatest women's basketball player in existence, and that being Caitlin Clark breaking the all-time record for point scorers in the NCAA. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. I mean, just a dog, right?
Yeah, she's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good at the basketball. I've talked about it a little bit, Noah, about her and like, you know, she's going into the draft this year and everything and what that's going to mean. And I hate to say it, but I think she has the potential, if the WNBA plays their cards right, like she has the potential to be it and like to potentially bring eyes and a lot of viewership and positivity to the WNBA.
Well, did you see? I think is it the Indiana Fever who have the number one?
That it is.
Yeah, their season ticket prices doubled after Caitlin Clark declared for the draft. Yeah, so there's obviously some excitement there. No doubt she'll be picked first overall.
Yeah.
And yeah, doubling the season ticket prices. Wow.
I mean, and makes sense. I mean, shit, you look at any game that she's gone to and no tickets have been, I mean, at least the ones I can find under $200, but and she's, you know, and she's a ticket seller as she should be. She is unbelievable. Bless you, Noah. She is unbelievable to watch. I mean, the amount of times I've randomly turned on an Iowa game because I know Caitlin's playing and she's just pulled up from the logo, pulling some Steph Curry type shit. Like, bro, like she's a dog. And if, hey, and WNBA plays their cards right, she could be it for them. She could be to the WNBA what Wilt, Kobe, Magic, Jordan, you know what I mean? All those guys were to basketball. This could be the first true, like, quote unquote, GOAT, I think, in college basketball, undeniably.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Obviously, the WNBA's got a
lot of other issues, but
yeah.
Well, we'll see Caitlin Clark break about every single record in the first 2 seasons, so that should be fun. But I mean, what? She's got to make probably 5 threes in a game to break the all-time threes made in a game.
I don't know more than that, but
anyway, talking college ball though, Noah. AP Top 25. They decided that they're still going to put out a list. They've decided that they're still going to rank these college teams. Noah, how do you feel about that?
They're doing their thing. I mean, it's pretty on par with where we'll see seeding at with the top 25, although there are some teams that are ranked higher than the seed that they'll get and lower than the seed that they'll get. So, yeah, it's like I've said with basketball, the list gets better the deeper in the season we get. It gets more accurate. You got a larger sample size, so I would hope that would be the case. But
yeah.
Still some teams that I'm, raise a little bit of an eyebrow at. I'm like, really, we got them that high, or really they're that low?
Well, I'm with you there.
But for the most part, it feels like a pretty good list.
I will say, this was one of the few lists that I've looked at this season, and I didn't just have unrational rage. So that's a good sign for the AP Top 25. You ready to dive in, though, bro?
Let's do it.
Top 25, starting 1 through 5. You got Houston sitting up there at the number 1. Why the fuck is my screen doing that now? You got Houston sitting up at the number 1 spot. UConn sitting there at 2. Purdue, number 3. Tennessee, number 4. Arizona wrapping up the top 5. Noah, bear down. Go Cats. How are we feeling about the top
5? Houston, UConn, feel great. Purdue, same story as every week. I think they're just a little too high on the list, but they continue to win games, so whatever. Just the first place votes are the problem that I have with Purdue being there. I'm like, who in their fucking right mind thinks this Purdue team is better than Houston, better than UConn? I can understand an argument for saying Purdue is better than Tennessee, Arizona, anybody behind them. They did beat Arizona head-to-head. I can't wrap my mind around anybody thinking Purdue is better than Houston or UConn at this point. Tennessee's earned their way up to 4. I don't think they're going to stay there. They had to come from behind for 2 wins this last week. They got 2 tough ones on the road, I believe, both of them. What are they at? They played Alabama, didn't they? They at Kentucky, at Auburn,
at South Carolina, home against Kentucky.
Okay, so they do have a home game left.
Yes.
Yeah, that at South Carolina is going to be tough, and Kentucky never
Always
an
tough.
easy game. I wouldn't be surprised to see them drop at least one of those,
If not
but
both.
probably why you look at any bracketology, anything like that. Arizona's sitting as that 4th 1 seed, not Tennessee. Probably some speculation there that Arizona is going to have a much easier path to winning the rest of the games versus Kentucky, who's going to have to play these 2 tough games and then go play a really tough SEC tournament. So, I think Tennessee's got the opportunity to earn a 1 seed. Even if Arizona wins out, I think if Tennessee wins the SEC, they edge out Arizona for that last 1 seed, but they're going to have a lot of tough games in front of them. The Cats, not so much,
No.
You have maybe 1 or 2 difficult games at the LA schools this week. Should be 2 wins, knocking on wood. And then other than Washington State, I mean, I don't really see a big threat in the Pac-12.
No, I don't. But I do also see an Arizona team that can be very beatable at any given opportunity.
This is true.
And that's been an issue for us. Let's not forget. But yeah, no, I echo everything you said about whatchamacallit, Purdue. I mean, I'm just not there with them anymore. And we never were there. We never were there with Purdue. We just knew they had Zach Edey, a super tall motherfucker. Again, one of the best college basketball players to do it, but that's where his legacy is going to end.
And they're going to go down in history if they lose another first round game here, because losing to a 15 seed followed by a 16, and then if they lose to another 16 this year, bang, bang, bang. You can't lose in the first round 3 years in a row. Now, looking at the 15s and 16s, and I did tweet this out, they look less dangerous than they have in the past couple tournaments. I think Purdue might actually win a game this year.
Wow.
Game. Then when they get hit with a strong 8 or 9 seed, who knows what'll happen?
No shot.
But they may win a game this year.
They make it out of the first round. That is the only round they make it out of.
First weekend, not so sure.
Noah, we like to talk about sports gambling on this show, believe it or not. We like to talk about that. And, I'm sitting here looking at odds, and I'm still seeing UConn at plus 500, Houston at plus 6, U of A at plus 900, of course. Like, how, you have to, gun to your head, you got to pick one natty out of those 3 right now. Who you picking?
Shit. I mean, very chalk, but as of right now, Houston. I mean, Houston's looked better than anyone else. They've got 1 loss in the, I think they have 1 conference loss, right?
Houston?
Yeah. Who have they lost to this year?
So they lost to Iowa State, TCU, and Kansas.
Oh, so 3. Okay, 3
all on the road.
All road games. Toughest conference in basketball. That is 2 top 10 teams and a TCU team that is pretty decent.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, UConn's been really damn good too, but if I, gun to my head, like you said, I would split that between Houston and UConn. I just, right now, it feels like they are by far the best 2 teams in college basketball.
Yeah.
And I feel pretty confident splitting a bet between the 2 of them that one of them may hit. You're cutting your payout in half, but then you're still talking plus 250, plus 300 payout. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at right now. Not to say some other team can't win it, but I think both Houston and UConn should be locks to make at least the Elite 8.
I'm with you there. I'm with you.
Final 4, maybe not, because there will be some really strong 2 and 3 seeds. I just don't see either of them losing to a 4 or a 5. Like, I see both of them easily clearing the 16 seed in the first round. Not that that's a hot take or anything. Easily clearing any 8 or 9 seed. Might run into a little bit of trouble against a 4 or a 5, because I think there will be some strong 4 or 5s, but I think both of these teams are plenty good to get past that. So I like them both as kind of an Elite 8 lock.
I like it.
As 1 seeds. Whereas there's, you talk about Purdue, Tennessee, Arizona. I don't trust either or any of those 3 to be a lock for the Elite 8.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying, man. I wouldn't. I just feel bad for Arizona. Well, I feel bad for us. That's all.
Well, like we've been saying, Arizona's either going to go really deep or it's going to be the exit. So
yeah. Anything else in the top 5?
Not in the top 5.
All right, let's keep it moving then. 6 through 10. Noah, you've got number 6, Iowa State. Number 7, North Carolina. Number 8, Marquette. Number 9, Duke. Number 10, Creighton. How are we feeling?
Iowa State, they're really fucking good. They're a really good team. I expect them to have a little bit of a deep tournament run. Depending on what they do to finish out the season in the Big 10 or Big 12 tournament, rather they'll probably, I don't see them worse than a 3 seed. They could earn themselves a 2 seed. They'll be a dangerous 2 or 3 no matter where they are in that line. Was North Carolina 7?
Yeah, 7.
They're really good, but like, are we going to see 2023 North Carolina or are we going to see 2022 North Carolina?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Because 2022 North Carolina, they went on that really great deep run, propelled mainly by Caleb Love, who is now an Arizona Wildcat, which I love that we have him and Keyshawn Johnson,
yes,
who have both been to national championships in the last 2 years. So I think that might be what flips the script here with Arizona. But are we going to see that North Carolina, or are we going to see last year's North Carolina where they were an early exit? I'm not sure, and I think it's kind of a coin flip. They're really good when they play really good, but they've played a lot of really not that good games, so they kind of make me nervous. But I could also see them making a deep run. It is North Carolina, so.
And I think that's
come tournament time.
And I think that's my issue with North Carolina, kind of like the Chiefs now, where I'm almost expecting them to kind of goof off during the regular season and then they get their shit together for the playoffs. I know it's completely different set of circumstances with North Carolina and everything, but it still almost feels like no matter what the season is, North Carolina doesn't really turn up the tempo until you get a little bit closer to March.
Yeah, so obviously they're always dangerous. They're able to turn it on really quick. RJ Davis has played some really good games down the stretch here, and he could be a big time factor come tournament time. And usually when we see teams making a deep run, whether they're a lower seed or one of the top seeds, it's usually because 1 or 2 guys are just playing out of their mind, going nuts. And RJ Davis is capable of doing that and stringing together a couple 30-point games in a row and really carrying this team to an Elite 8 or a Final 4.
Who do you see as a bigger bracket buster, Duke or North Carolina this season?
See, that's tough because I think they're very much in the same boat, because a lot of my feelings towards North Carolina are the same feelings towards Duke, where they play really well a lot of the time, but then they have some of these let-up games, and obviously Duke, you got to look at Flipowski and a couple of the other guys they got. I like North Carolina a little bit better. I'll give them an edge over Duke. I do think a lot of people are going to pick in their brackets North Carolina and Duke, making it to the Sweet 16, if not farther, because they are household names. I think North Carolina's got a higher ceiling, but I think their floor is about the same. I think they could both be second round exits. I don't see either of them really losing in the first round. They should both be. I wouldn't be surprised to see them both, or one of them get a 2 seed and the other get a 3 seed. Worst case scenario, one of them falls to a 4, and they'll be a very strong 4, and not a 4 that you want to meet in the Sweet 16 if you're a 1 seed.
No, not at all. I can live with that. Marquette sitting there at 8, dropping 3 spots. Know how we feel about Marquette?
No different than I did before. They dropped a tough one. Shorthanded. They were they had a couple guys out, so I still think Marquette's a top 8 team in the country. So I'm not too worried about them. We'll see what they can do in the Big East Championship. Again, another team that should be a 2 or a 3 seed, and they'll be a dangerous 2 or a 3. So, I expect Marquette to make it to at least the Sweet 16, if not farther.
Well, before we even get to the tournament, Noah, they got UConn in a couple of days here,
which
that they got
doesn't
to deal
hurt.
with.
Yeah, doesn't hurt them at all if they lose. If they lose that game, they're not falling more than one spot in the rankings because it's
Absolutely.
UConn.
Yeah.
They win that game, they're jumping 2 or 3 spots. So it's I don't want to call it a win-win because obviously if you lose, it hurts you a little bit. But I mean that losing to UConn there might just bump them from the 2 seed down to a 3 seed. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world. They'll be fine. So long as they make a deep run in the Big East tournament, they'll be a-okay.
Fair enough. What about Creighton sitting there at 10?
Creighton's been looking really good lately. They've been climbing up the rankings, and we do have a third player in the Big East here. It's not just UConn, not just Marquette. In the past 2 weeks, they've got wins over UConn and over Marquette. Creighton's a team to watch. I think they're going to ultimately end up falling on the 4 or 5 line. I don't think that they're unless they make it to the Big East championship game with a win over UConn or Creighton to get them there. I don't see them getting a 2 seed, probably not a 3 seed either.
Yeah.
But if they do end up on the 4 line, they'll be a really dangerous 4 seed. And they, if they do well enough, I could see them earning a 3 seed, and rightfully so. I think they should be a 3, but there's only so many teams that can be a top 3 seed. So if they do fall to a 4, watch out for them to be a really dangerous 4.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. They closed their season out against Villanova in a couple of days here at Villanova too. So should be.
Yeah, and that could be a stinker to watch out for because Villanova probably not going to make the tournament unless they do something crazy in the Big East tournament, but they could play a little spoiler here.
Oh, they could have a little fun. Play some spoiler. I like it. Anything else in the top 10, Noah?
Not in the top 10, no.
All right, let's keep her on moving. Number 11, we've got Baylor, who just tipped off with Texas right now. Illinois at 12, Auburn at 13, KU at 14, Kentucky sitting there at 15. And I do finally get my wish of Alabama being out of the top 15. Noah, how do you feel about it?
Baylor, we'll start there. They're looking really good. They're starting to play some of their best basketball. We've talked about how tough of a conference the Big 12 is, and Baylor's, shown up to the test, and they're playing really well. I like Baylor come March. I think they could cause some waves, could make a little bit of a deep run, as I feel about pretty much the top 6 or 7 teams in the Big 12. I think they could all go pretty deep. Illinois, I'm still trying to figure out why they're ranked as high as they are, like I have been the last couple weeks. But we'll see how the Big 12 or Big 10 plays out for the rest of the season for Illinois. I expect to see them a little bit lower on the rankings. I like them as like a 5 seed come.
Well, they got a loss to Purdue coming here tomorrow at Purdue, in Illinois.
Or they shake things up and beat Purdue, and then, who knows with the Big Ten? Like I've said, I think the top 7 or 8 teams in the Big Ten, any of them are susceptible to losing to any of the rest of them. So the Big Ten tournament, I think, is going to be absolute chaos.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going to get a very unexpected result out of that, and may see a team that wouldn't be in the field of 68 until they win the Big Ten tournament and then get an automatic bid. So I don't know. Big Ten's going to be weird. Going to definitely be keeping my eyes on that. Always the last one to finish right before we have Selection Sunday. And don't be surprised if there are surprises out of the Big Ten is all I'm saying.
There might be. Excuse me. There definitely will be. I mean, we talk already about how bad they are in March and everything. And it's going to, I think, with the crop of teams we have this year, definitely leak into the conference tournament. But
yeah, I mean, nice thing is they're only going to have 4 or 5 teams probably in March this year, which is less than before, which I think is deserved with how shitty they've played the last 3 or 4 years in March. So, punish them for their shit performances, put less Big Ten teams in there. They're probably going to flop in the first round again anyways. So
I co-sign. I love it. Love it. Anyway, Auburn, how you feeling about them sitting there at 13?
Well, I'll talk about Auburn and Kentucky down there at 15.
All right.
Both playing really good ball right now. SEC is tough. I mean, I've said I think they're probably the second best conference in college basketball right now. And it's been a lot of beating up on each other this year for the SEC. I like Auburn a little bit better than Kentucky, but as we've said with Kentucky, they're so young. It's John Calipari. He sometimes finds a way to random years, like 1 out of every 4 or 5 years, he finds a way to just unlock all the talent on all these freshmen on the team, and then they go deep. So I'm not writing that off for Kentucky, but I think Auburn's a safer bet to make it farther. They play really good basketball. Bruce Pearl's a hell of a coach, and I expect Auburn to have a good little run here in the SEC tournament and in March Madness.
I like it.
And then that leaves Kansas.
Okay, yeah, Rock Shock, baby.
Yeah, most losses in the Big 12 that they've had since why is his name space in my mind? The coach.
You're the coach guy, Noah. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm being a fucking idiot and just having.
I know you are.
Bill Self.
That's my job, Noah. Come on.
Yeah, Bill Self has never lost 7 conference games in a season. They've got 7 losses right now with a home game against Kansas State and then at Houston. They probably will end up with 8 conference losses, which is crazy to think we might see Kansas on the 4 or the 5 line in the tournament. That's going to be, I can just tell you already, if they're a 4 or a 5 seed, that's going to be a very popular upset pick, is Kansas knocking off whoever the 1 is in their bracket. And I hope Arizona's not the 1 seed with Kansas as the 4 or the 5, because
that'd be a good knockoff spot for them.
That is a scary Sweet 16 matchup. But Kansas they've been good. They haven't been great this season. I mean, Dickinson's not been the added oomph that I think they were hoping for him to be.
Not the Dick they wanted, you know?
Yeah, McCullough's been really, really fucking good. Obviously the best player, and we'll see, though. I mean, it's Kansas, so once March Madness rolls around, Bill Self knows what to do. He's been there plenty of times before. He'll get the team
been there, done
into
that.
shape.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Watching this team right now, I have not been, how you say, inspired by anything that they're doing right now. Definitely doesn't want to make me bet on them. Definitely doesn't want to make me put them on the bracket. But like you said, Noah, been there, done that before with the head coach. And that experience matters a lot. And, sometimes those teams, they just shine brighter on the bigger lights,
Yeah. Well, it's also I know, myself, right, Baylor was favored by 5.5 at home against Kansas.
Yeah.
This past weekend. And I see Kansas as a 5.5 point dog. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care where they're playing. I'm taking it. I took it, lost that bet. But
yeah, me too.
But it's still, it's Kansas basketball. If you're giving me them as a 5.5 point dog against anybody in the country, I'm probably taking it. Now, granted, I'll probably be on Houston to cover in Houston that last game of the season, and they'll probably be 8 or 9 point favorites. But still, it's Kansas. It's Bill Self. At the end of the day, they've got a winning culture. They win. That's just what they do. So I don't expect them to be like an early exit, no matter what seed they get. Even if they fall to a 4 or a 5 seed, they're going to be probably the most dangerous 4 or 5 seed in the tournament.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I don't care where they're at in the tournament. No, it's going to be dangerous all around because we're in March. But
yeah, you don't want to play Kansas in March. That's the bottom line.
Rule of thumb: if you can avoid Kansas, that's a good thing. But yeah, no. Anything else in the top 15?
I don't think so.
All right, number 16, Alabama. 17, South Carolina. 18, Washington State. 19, Gonzaga. 20, BYU. First of all, shout out to Alabama. Thanks for your time in the top 15. Nice to see you leave. And Noah, this is kind of what I've been expecting out of Alabama. I'm not going to lie. Just Slight gradual decline. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought they should have won that game against Tennessee. Tennessee.
They were up big.
Yeah.
Would they blow like double digits or close to that?
Close, I think. Let me double check. I need to go through the box score, and I do not have the patience to go through that right now.
I'll figure it out here.
But they were up. They were up big and then just kind of pissed it away. And so
they were up 7 in the second half.
All right. So, I mean, but again, they should have won that basketball game. They were in control of that basketball game for most of it, and they didn't close it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. They didn't close. And I'm sorry, but looking into the tea leaves in my crystal ball a little bit, I see that happening as a nice little early exit that first weekend in March.
Yeah, and it'll depend what they end up with seeding wise. They're currently sitting as the number 2 seed in the SEC. Obviously, we got a couple games left to play. There'll be some shakeups, but I mean, when you got a top 6 in the SEC of Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, it's dangerous, and you got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, A&M, all kind of lurking there as teams that could provide an upset potentially. Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. They may find themselves in like a 6 or a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Come tournament time, which I don't think you hate necessarily if you're Alabama. Like, you probably get a favorable matchup in the first round, and then you're playing a 3 or maybe a 2 seed in the second round, which this team is good enough that they are capable of beating a 2 or a 3 in that second round. I don't think they'll be favored to do so, but I think they're not a team you can just write off.
I'm writing them off.
Much like South Carolina, who's sitting there at 17.
I'll give you South Carolina. I'm not writing them off by any means necessary.
No, and they for a team that was picked to finish dead last in the SEC, South Carolina being in the rankings, what a hell of a season that they've had. I think they're hungry. I think they may cause some waves in March Madness. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see where they end up. I'm excited to see how they fare in the SEC tournament, because this is a team that if they make a deep enough run in the SEC tournament, they could earn themselves a 4 or a 5 seed.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have some really fun 4 or 5 seed matchups in this tournament specifically. There's just, outside of the top like 7-8 teams, it's such a narrow margin for all these teams that are going to be getting the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, and the 7s. I mean, it's all completely open with a lot of these teams, how they do in their conference tournaments, where they're going to end up.
Yeah. And I mean, they got good matchup coming up against Tennessee later this week, along with Mississippi State before they get into the SEC tournament. So, I mean, hey, a good opportunity to, make a good mark before going into the tournament. So
absolutely.
I like it. Washington State, I want to say thank you for staying around. Makes our loss to you guys look a lot better. So
both of our
losses look a lot better. But no. I mean, you talk about the Pac-12, and it's Arizona, Washington State. I don't see any other real competition coming out of the Pac-12 right now. Do you?
No. I mean, you got, I think, Oregon sitting in 3rd place in the Pac-12 right now, who's on the outside of the bubble looking in. So unless they do something crazy, I mean, Oregon's probably going to need to win the Pac-12 tournament to make it in. I mean, obviously, whoever wins the Pac-12 tournament gets in automatically, but I don't see it happening.
Neither do I. Now, when you say Oregon needs to do something crazy, do you mean something crazy like, I don't know, change your court to something that's actually like watchable on the TV?
I sure hope so. I mean, I've been waiting for that day, and I don't know if it'll ever come, but
dude, yeah. I guess my only worry is that they saw what they did in the in-season tournament, and they're like, we can do that, but better.
I hope not. But we're not talking about Oregon. We're talking about Washington State.
Yeah.
Washington State, who has been, was not picked to do super well this year, has put together a really good season. They are like the biggest and tallest starting 5 in college basketball. I think that could benefit them come March. they're going to have a size advantage over anybody that they play. They have played some stinkers of some games.
It happens.
But, as a 5 or a 6 seed, probably what they'll end up as, I think they're worth paying attention to. I don't know that they'll make it super deep in the tournament, but this is a roster with a lot of talent and a lot of size and height, like I said. So that certainly is something to pay attention to, depending on who their matchups are.
I was about to say, that first round matchup can get very interesting. Yeah. That'll
be a key factor on whether this is a popular upset pick or a popular team to maybe make a little bit of a run.
This would be fun. Washington State could be absolute just wreckers coming into March. I love it.
Or they could be a first round exit,
Yeah, it's definitely one of the two. But Gonzaga sitting there at 19. No, I cannot remember the last time in the last couple of years I've been sitting here in March and seeing Gonzaga this low. Or is my memory just bad?
No, they've been out of the rankings for half the year, and they.
Oh yeah.
they're finally back. West Coast Conference, based on the layout with their conference tournament, because it's it's like one game. So there's like a bye, a double bye, and a triple bye if you're Gonzaga and St. Mary's. So they won't have to play until the semifinals. They're already in the semifinals. Going to be interesting to pay attention to. San Francisco and Santa Clara, both very good teams, so they could potentially upset Gonzaga or St. Mary's. Otherwise, if we do get a Gonzaga-St. Mary's matchup for the third time this season in the championship, that's going to be one to circle. That'll be a fun game. I think whoever wins this conference gets a 5 seed. I think whoever comes runner-up, if it is Gonzaga-St. Mary's, is maybe a 7. So, not as good as we've seen from this conference, where we've seen Gonzaga as a 1 and St. Mary's as a 4 or a 5 multiple years. I think they're going to get like a 5 and a 7, or a 5, maybe even an 8. I don't know. We'll see. But, both Gonzaga and St. Mary's, who we'll get to in a little bit, kind of playing their best ball of the season right now. Both of them had a little bit of rocky starts. So that's good if you're optimistic about either of these teams, is that they are playing their best ball right now. And it would be fun to see them play for a third time this year.
Oh, it would be, like you said, immediate circle around the calendar. Make sure I've got nothing else planned for that time period. I'm watching that game. But no, I like the way Gonzaga's been playing, especially down the stretch here. Would be, and I mean, picking up that last one against St. Mary's definitely helps out a lot. So one more time. Let's see it one more time. Come on, give it to us. And then, sorry, what? Did you have something else?
I was just chomping at the bit to get to BYU.
BYU, get to the Mormons sitting there at 20. Welcome back to the rankings. Hey, I mean,
in out.
It's been that conference this season, and what you call it, a revolving door.
Yeah, much like the Mountain West, we've got a couple teams to get to from the Mountain West down in the bottom of the top 25. I mean, BYU been the same story. Feels like they've just been in and out of the rankings all season. Never really gotten, they started really hot and were all the way up sniffing the top 10, and then conference play started, and they've been right in between like 20 and like 35, just kind of bouncing back and forth. This is a good BYU team. I'll probably, depending on their matchup, probably be picking them to get upset in the first round. I think they maybe get like a 7, a 6 or a 7, and that's going to be an 11 or a 12 seed that I'm really looking at, or a 10 or an 11 seed rather, that I'm looking at for maybe an upset pick. Depends on who they're matched up against, but like I said, they're good, but they're nothing super special.
No, they're a team that, they'll definitely get their shots in. They'll get their shots in and they'll do what they need to do, but not one I'm taking to round 2, 3, 4. But anyway, anything else on the top 20, Noah?
No, let's get into the fun part.
Let's wrap it up here. Got San Diego State at 21, Utah State at 22, not moving an inch. St. Mary's at 23, South Florida at 24, Dayton taking a fat fall to 25. How we feeling, Noah?
Loving San Diego State, Utah State, and that Mountain West. I do believe they should have 5 teams, if not 6, in the tournament. I don't know that they'll get the graces of getting 6 teams in, although I do believe that 6 are worthy. Like I've said, I think these guys are going to dominate these 7 through 11 or 12 seeds in the tournament. There's going to be a lot of Mountain West teams right in that range. They're fun to watch. They're all equally dangerous. They've played a really battle-tested season with how good the top 5 or 6 teams have been in the Mountain West. So, I don't expect them to be caught off guard come March Madness. And whoever doesn't end up making it, those 1 or 2 teams that don't, they'll be the favorites in the NIT, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so I like Utah State the best out of all of them, but, San Diego State, very good. Nevada, UNLV, Colorado State, Boise State, all very, very good teams and could all put together a nice little run. It's been one of the most fun conferences to watch this year, so I'm excited to see what they do in their conference tournament and what they do come March, assuming that we're going to see a minimum of 4 of those teams in the tournament field. St. Mary's, already kind of talked about, same kind of thing as Gonzaga. They're playing their best ball right now. It'll be fun to see if we get a St. Mary's Gonzaga rematch in that conference championship. USF, they're playing really damn good.
They're playing damn good right now. They are playing damn good right now.
That's another tough conference too.
Yeah.
There's certainly
American
no lock.
around.
Yeah, there's certainly no lock to win that conference. They are 15-1 in conference play, but FAU, Charlotte, Memphis, SMU, UAB, even North Texas, all good teams that could challenge for that conference. I'd like to think USF will be in the tournament field regardless, based on the season that they've had, 22-5, 15-1 in conference play. If somebody else wins that conference, you may be talking about a 2-bid conference for the American. So that'll be a tournament to keep your eye on is the American Conference there. And then rounding out the top 25, Dayton, who I've been very, very high on, but they have dropped a couple games here down the stretch. Not finishing the season super strong, taking an L to Loyola at Loyola, who, by the way, is a team to watch out for, maybe sneaking into the tournament here. And last 2 times they've been in the tournament, we've seen what they've done, just going on tears. I'm still high on Dayton. I just I'm losing a little faith in them. They go and win the A10. I'll be right back on that Dayton train. But yeah, they lose in the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the A10 tournament. I don't know. They might be working their way into like a 10 or 11 seed if they do that. So I think they should be in no matter what, I would think, but it's a matter of seeding at this point. I think they could be as high as like a 6. They could end up working their way down to a 10, 11, 12,
They could. Yeah, they're scaring me. They're just scaring the shit out of me coming down the back end. But Noah, any comments or thoughts on others receiving votes or teams you may have felt got gypped or anything like that?
Like I said, you got Nevada and Boise State right there. Mountain West. Let's go. Let's ride. Florida dropped out of the rankings, but I think they're still a very good team. I think they'll be in the field. They'll be a good Cinderella pick, if you will, I think.
Ooh.
I look back to like a year or 2 or 3 ago, Iowa State is an 11 seed going all the way to the Elite 8. Miami that same year in the same quadrant of the bracket. But watch out for Florida. I like Texas Tech, but they haven't been consistent enough.
No.
Completely off the board on Texas. I don't know why they got votes, but we'll see. If they beat Baylor tonight, they'll probably find their way into the top 25. Indiana State, man. If they snuck into the rankings, not snuck in, they earned their way into the rankings and lost 2 in a row. And I think that's the end of them with the rankings, but they're damn good. They're going to be a good team. And I've been really high on App State lately.
I like it. App State's been a solid. I want to almost stay away from solid all season, but they've definitely, I feel, found their footing these last couple weeks. And yeah, I've been liking the way they've been playing.
And then the other team on there getting two votes, McNeasy. I think they're going to upset somebody. They're going to be a mean 14 seed that might fuck up a 3 seeds day in the tournament. Or if they somehow end up down at the 15 line, watch out if you're a 2. You do not want to be playing McNeasy in the first round.
No,
I can tell you that much.
Probably the last thing you want, actually. Anything else? College basketball, top 25, anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, we got a bunch of conference tournaments starting this week, starting tonight, and they're going to continue going. Conference play is going to wrap up by Saturday or Sunday for all the power conferences, and those tournaments are going to be starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and it's tournament time, baby.
It's tournament time, baby. We are all the way back. Cannot wait to get diving deep into it this month. Before we log off, though, Noah, we have a breaking news, actually. The Bears making a trade. Not the trade that we're thinking of. But they do make a trade to the Bills for a 5th-round pick, getting offensive lineman Ryan Bates, who, I mean, just that initial look, absolute stud, and it definitely feels like they are looking to protect whichever quarterback they're going to have. I don't know what else to say about it, Noah. I mean, I'm just getting nightmares. I'm just getting nightmares of us trading away Justin Fields and drafting Caleb Williams and having Caleb Williams be Mitch Trubisky 2.0. Mitch was the savior. Mitch was the savior, but oh man. Well, no, we've covered a lot today. We covered a lot of shit today. You got anything else to say about literally anything?
Hey, bear down, go Cats.
Bear down, go Cats. I like it. Shout out to the 10 people still watching live right now. Appreciate y'all. Do want to take another moment as well. Shout out to our 436 incredible followers here on Rumble. Appreciate each and every single one of you. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Helps us out a lot more than you know. We'll be live later this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. We're not sure. We haven't planned that far out ahead yet, but we will get that locked down. But hit that follow button so you make sure you know when we go live at all times. But with all that being said, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. I'm the Brofect1 AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. And we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.